Hi, I'm Todd Bennett, CEO of the Family Center, and I want to welcome you to new board orientation. Today, we're going to do a brief video that kind of goes over the roles of our board members and give you a tour of our facilities. So, we're looking forward to having you with us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
And introduce ourselves. And we did this on, well, you weren't there, Eddie. We did this on our last board meeting and said why we're passionate about this. But this morning, maybe just introduce yourself, where you work, and then just kind of tell me what it is that puts you over the top to commit to this board. I'd just like to know, what was it that tipped you to say yes? And so I'll start. I'm Lori Alton. My husband and I own the Tidal Wave Auto Spas. I also have a coaching and consulting leadership development consulting business. And Chuck Rossi approached me a little over a year ago, probably it's coming up on 2 years, I guess. And he just made a really compelling statement along with Todd that the mission of the Family Center was just so critical, particularly with children and people suffering from mental health challenges. And so I've just seen greater need for that as this whole pandemic's unfolded. So that's what really tipped me. And so Mo, I'll let you.
Okay.
We'll come back to Jay and Todd.
All right. Mo, I'm from here originally. Went to school at Auburn, and I work at St. Francis in physical therapy and spine rehab. And Austin and Lori approached me about joining here, and I thought it was a great mission, the idea of keeping families together in-house counseling. Columbus has such a need for that, and I get to see that on a daily basis at work. So that really drove me to give back to my hometown, so I'm excited to be here and get involved, most definitely.
We're really happy to have you.
Well, thank y'all for inviting me and having me.
All right, I'm going to shift it over to Eddie.
I'm Eddie O'Moulton. The reason I'm doing this is because of Lori Alton, of course. She's a neighbor, and I know they'll throw things at my yard if I said no. So we prefer that not happen. But I'm an educator. I was in Muscogee County for 32 years, and I'm still in some form of education. I've been at CSU as a professor there for 6 years. Left there and went to Russell County and helped them out. And now I'm sort of a sub for administrators in Muscogee County School District. But the real reason is I see the mental illness issues in schools. It's getting more and more prevalent as the years go by. And if we can do anything to help that issue, I think it's going to help a nation. It won't just help those students, it's going to help the nation. So I think that's going to be that little microcosm that pushes us as we have more elsewhere doing the same mission. I think it'd be great. So that's why I'm here.
Great. Well said. Alton.
My name is Alston Lyle. I'm an attorney at Morgan & Lyle. We're here in town. We do business law, so we represent businesses all day. I'm here, well, because Lori Alton, she's my mom. But I think the Family Center is very special and very important to this community because they tackle the whole family instead of just focusing on the parent's mental health or the child's mental health. I like that it's a one-stop shop in essence of really focusing on the family as a unit because one person can't get better without the whole family getting better. I really believe in a whole family moving forward and making progress together. And I love that. And I think that's very unique because not many practices do that. And I'm excited to be a part of this.
Hi, I'm Todd Bennett, CEO of the Family Center. And I just want to take you on a brief journey to look at the history of the Family Center as we have grown through time. You might know the Family Center has served the Chattahoochee Valley for 110 years. So let's get into a little bit of the story of how the Family Center became the organization that we know today. In 1909, local church leaders come together and start a new organization to help people with financial needs in the Columbus area. This is put together by the churches themselves and local businessmen that help to make this a reality. In the 1930s, our organization would make a change. As federal and state aid became available for families, we would become Travelers Aid. Travelers Aid provided assistance to travelers through our area that came into need. One neat thing is look at this photograph. You'll notice that we had the same phone number back then as we do today. On July 1st, 1959, we added family counseling as the Family Service Bureau joined Travelers Aid, both United Giver agencies, a precursor of today's United Way. In 1968, it was time for change again. The Salvation Army took over the Travelers Aid Society, and we became the Community Counseling Center of Columbus, focusing only on mental health. In 1987, we hit our modern times, moving from 1425 3rd Street, where we shared offices with United Givers, to 1350 15th Avenue. Today, we have all the programs that you know of as the Family Center. In fact, our name Family Center came about in 2004.
So we're going to talk real quick just about some of our programs, and one of the programs that we're famous for in the community is our Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and of course this is where we provide a mentor for a child in the community, and such a special program. It gives a child an opportunity to spend time with a quality adult that can show them things in the world, whether it be their workplace or morals and values, things that are very important for a child. And this might be a child whose mother is working all day long, or a child that just is in need of certain skills that their family cannot provide. And so that's a big part of what we do with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And of course that program works in a couple ways. Some of our programs are one-on-one mentoring. Some of our programs are things like our Bigs in Blue program, where we pair up children with a police officer, and they might do that through their local school, where the police officer comes and eats lunch with them once a week. So just a very valuable program. And also in our counseling side is our CCCS program, and I'm going to have Jay tell you a little bit about that.
Thanks, Todd. Our consumer credit counseling is a service that we provide for West Georgia and for East Alabama. And as Todd said, it's called CCCS, and it offers financial counseling services to support the financial well-being and economic stability of individuals and families. Some of the things that we look to accomplish with this program is to increase awareness and knowledge of budgeting, the importance of paying bills on time, how to get out of debt and use credit responsibly, knowing your rights and responsibilities as a renter, how to stop excessive spending and create a savings plan, and how to become a homeowner and how to deal with mortgage delinquencies and avoid foreclosure. So these services we offer are at little or no cost to our clients, and it's there to help these clients just get a better financial stability in their life for their families, and we want to reduce those financial burdens.
Awesome. Another program that we have is our Families in Schools program. And this is a program where we try to build community around a child in one of our local schools. Right now, that program itself has impact in 36 schools in our service area. And really what we're doing is taking a child and building community members, school teachers, administrators, and counselors from our staff around them. And it gives them a footing in school where not only do they do better in school with the counseling that they get, but they're also able to know more people because they've got a little bit of community built around them. One of the great things about that program is while the kids are having a lot of fun, we're also teaching our parents parenting skills. So just a very popular program that we have here at the Family Center. And that leads us back to family counseling, which is one of the mainstays of our program. Jay?
Yeah, as Todd said, the Family Counseling of Columbus, or FCC, is our outpatient mental health counseling and education organization, and we serve low-income, uninsured, and underinsured individuals. Our services are designed to improve clients' mental and behavioral health, stabilize families in crisis, and provide trauma-informed treatment. All of our clinicians are master-level clinicians, and they take the lead on the service delivery. So we also want to conduct group service, providing education and intervention to persons struggling with parenting issues, anger management, domestic violence, and divorce. Without this program, literally thousands of families, our friends, families, and neighbors, would be without help, and they need to maintain stable, productive, and healthy lives.
And Jay, another part of that program from our family counseling is our Rally Point program. And this is a program that means so much to me because as a disabled veteran, I was injured in Iraq, came home really struggling, and had several things that happened in my life that made me realize that I needed to get help, and I needed to adjust to the moral tragedy that happens inside of you from combat. And so here at the Family Center, we have Rally Point, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, work with veterans who have that moral trauma that they carry every day. And we're really targeting the ones that kind of an epidemic of military personnel that are kind of locked into their home. They sit home all day long. Some of them having issues thinking about suicide and things like that, but just not living their life. So our slogan at Rally Point is, let's get your life back. And we do that several ways. One is Game Day for Heroes, one of our affiliate programs where we go out and we take our veterans to college sporting events. Really great program. They're at a tailgate with a bunch of other heroes. Next thing they know, they're in a stadium with 87,000 people in it watching a football game. That also opens the door up for us to get them into group counseling and individual counseling. We are also partnered with Heroes to Heroes, where we have the opportunity to provide one of our members a chance to go to Israel. We do that once a year. Heroes to Heroes does a great job of giving those veterans a chance to not only visit the Holy Land, but military sites, while paired with Israeli Defense Force members who have been through the same kind of trauma. So we have a really big success rate of getting people into counseling, whether it be group counseling or individual counseling, and providing programs that really do support that. So that's a little bit about our programs, and what we want to do now is kind of take you on a tour of our facilities. So we're going to load up in a second, and we're going to take a walk through the building, meet some of our personnel, and talk to some of our directors. Of course, this is our boardroom, and it's arranged different when we have board meetings, and hopefully soon we'll be back to having live board meetings. So far we've been doing those. We have Microsoft Teams, so you might want to download that on your computer. Microsoft has given us a grant, so we have all the Microsoft Cloud products, including Teams. So that's something that we have a virtual boardroom on there. So hopefully soon we'll be able to at least offer maybe people that feel comfortable coming to a live meeting can, and then we'll still do it online or whatever. We'll have to make a decision on that pretty soon. But this is our boardroom. Usually we have it in a big square so we can all sit around and see each other. Right now it's set up. This is how we set it up for classes. Like I was telling you, we had divorce of parents last night. So if everybody will come with me, we'll take a tour of the building as well as meet some of the people. And like you did today, This side door is a lot easier on board meeting days. Just come to the side door and instead of coming through the lobby and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
just come on through there. Because our main lobby is in the middle of the building.
If she
So-
led the way.
This hallway is our administrative hallway. And so my office is down all the way to the right. Jay's is right across the hall. Lori's standing right in front of the Game Day for Heroes office. John Mox, our program director. John has autoimmune disease. He's a disabled veteran. And he's been working strictly from home because under doctor's orders he can't be out in public. So we're missing him right now. And then this is one of our more famous employees.
Famous and infamous.
I think she's got a mouthful of Chick-fil-A. I was wondering why she wouldn't look at us. This is Michelle. Michelle was our operations manager, and she has moved over to accounting and office manager. So she's the lifeblood of the place, and she's the person that puts our financials together that you'll get in your board packet every time.
Anything that we don't know where it's at, Michelle knows where it's at.
That's right.
That's about the truth.
Michelle's main job is keeping me straight. So.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I need half your face, right, to keep them straight.
Surely you're getting, surely you got your bonus.
That giant bonus, yes.
So this is our computer server room. It says video room because back in the day, I guess that's what it was. But all of our server stuff is in there, and all the computer stuff. And then we just storage. All of our families and schools supplies are in that storage. So that's Crystal's favorite spot right there. Up the stairs, the building kind of goes sideways, and that's where all of our counseling offices are. And we'll be going up there in just a little bit.
Nice back.
Yeah. So this is our employee lounge, whatever you want to call it, our break room, and we're really lucky. This used to be our copier room, and we got a grant from Lowe's to update our bathrooms and our conference rooms and this room. So Lowe's did all this for us. They came in and did the work, repainted, put in new cabinetry, new refrigerator. And you know, that refrigerator told me the other day, I'm not lying, came in here in the morning, it told me that I could order my cup of coffee off my phone. I did not know that. So thank you, Lowe's. I can now tell the thing before I get to work to have me a cup of coffee ready, and it will do it. Isn't that crazy?
About this room or the trash cans.
Yeah, no, automatic trash cans.
Like a Jedi Master when I run my
It's a small thing.
But this is an idea of what knowing people in town can do. Having Lowe's to supply. This is not something that we could have done ourselves. You know, put down new flooring and have nice things for the employees. But let me tell you, these employees, they're on the low end of the salary scale on no matter how you look at any of it. Our counselors upstairs are probably making half of what most counselors make in the private business. So having something nice like this really makes a difference. So we're really proud of this. And if anybody, any of the board members ever want to relax in the executive lounge, there it is. Of course, this is the development department. Everybody met Shelley already.
You can peek in at her if you want. We're at a Zoom. I know it's looking mine. It's messy.
And this is our production room where you know, copier and all that kind of stuff are. One of our this says Consumer Credit Council, but this is kind of our roving office. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we'll have handicapped clients that come in and they can't go upstairs. So we use this office for that. And also a lot of times we have interns working in there. But if we need to see a client that can't go up and down the stairs, this is a great office for us to do that in. I guess we can't go in here, but this is the small conference room. It's just a regular conference table with about 8 chairs around it. We also have another TV like the one that's in there. That was another part of the Lowe's piece. And so that's, if we have smaller meetings or committee meetings, that's usually where we do that. Come on in.
Okay.
Where do interns come from?
Most of our interns either come from Auburn or Columbus State. Most of our counseling interns come from Columbus State. Most of our social work interns come from Auburn.
Okay. All right.
Do you have some ideas on that?
Well, I was thinking, because I know I was in DFLT, and that's where, we taught prospective counselors. So, but you're already using CSU. So,
Yeah.
Right though.
also, Troy.
We have had some from Troy. Now our counselor, our interns for counseling, it's a very competitive process because they have to get a master's degree in counseling, and then they have to have supervision. There's not many people that are certified to do supervision, but our director, Rachel, who you'll meet in a minute, is she's certified for that. So when our new term comes about, we usually have more people applying than we can take. Just on that end. Now, we always need Big Brother Big Sisters counseling. But this is our office of first impressions. We have 2 receptionists that work in here. They make all the appointments for consumer credit counseling as well as family counseling, and we bring our clients in through here. But Jay and myself learned the hard way how challenging this position is. We lost one of our directors of first impression, and another one of our people were on vacation, and so we ended up kind of working up here for a week. And I tell you, I don't know how they do it. Answering the phones and making appointments and changing appointments.
That's hard. And it's so important.
It is.
Has this been refreshed?
This is not. This is. We would love to, especially refresh the furniture in here. But this is our reception area as people are coming in. Try to make it as comfortable as possible. You're either waiting for an appointment, or we have people that are waiting on their family members to come down, especially parents that have a child having counseling. And then we have a child's play area, restrooms down here. And we changed it up a little bit. It used to be we had a family counseling side and a consumer credit counseling side. And as a part of kind of cutting back and streamlining, we put everything over here. So that's no longer a functioning window anymore. But yeah, it works great. It works great. And then on this side of the hall is all of our mentoring programs. So Big Brothers Big Sisters and Families in Schools. Families in Schools uses this area now because we're able to. So in Families in Schools, we have 1 full-time employee, 1 part-time employee, and a couple of interns. And so this gives us space for people to come in and work. And Crystal's office is in the back. And we'll be meeting with her in just a minute. And then the rest of these offices are all Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we're going to ask Eric, our director, to come out.
Hey.
Good morning, how are y'all?
Did you recover from the car wash day?
Yeah.
That's hard, isn't it?
It was, but it was so much fun.
Oh.
My name is Erica. I'm the program director of Big Brothers Big Sisters. We pair youth in the community with a positive role model. Our volunteers have to be at least 18 years old, and there has to be a 10-year age difference between the youth and the youthful. The volunteers have to go through a thorough background check, a thorough process that's completed by the case managers. Once they turn in their application, we do a interview, we do a background check, 3 reference checks, and a home assessment if they plan to take the child back to their home. And we assess them to make sure they're appropriate for the program. Once we match them, we will call them every month for the first year. And then after that, we call them quarterly. We want to check in with them to make sure everything's going okay. There's no issues, if they need community resources. Just being that backup for that match to make sure everything is going. Any questions about?
How long did you tell me it takes to get up? If you wanted to be a big, or you had someone who wanted to be a big, it takes about how long to?
It can take anywhere from a week to a month, really. It depends on how quick the volunteer gets the information. We have people that have completed the full process in less than a week. Once we send that application, they send it back, we schedule that interview, we can do a one-on-one orientation, and the references. Sometimes the references take a while to come back. Like right now we have a big who's completed everything, we're just waiting on the references to send them back. So it just depends on how quick everybody turns everything in. The background check comes straight to me, so they come back. I've had one come back in as short as 15 minutes, one a month, because they had something on their background.
What's the cost to us on the background check?
The cost to us is the volunteer pays $14 if they are not a student. A student pays $10. We cover the rest, which is about $20.
Which we're happy to do.
Yes.
And these are really cool. Erica does a great job of showing some of our matches. And if you follow the Chattahoochee Valley, the BBBS, the Chattahoochee Valley Facebook page, Erica always posts whenever we have a new match, posts a photograph of the big and the little, and it's really, really neat.
This is where you would come for inspiration. Anytime you're having a bad day, come look at these pictures.
And I told Todd, it's like, there's sometimes that, things have happened and you're like, oh my goodness. But it seems like we always have somebody that tells us an inspirational story, or a big to send us a thank you note, or we have a parent that's just so appreciative of that big brother or that big sister that's helping their child. It just makes it so worth it, especially on those match report calls when we're talking to the parent, the big and the little, and they're telling us how happy they are and things that they're doing. Our bigs expose kids to things that they have never had the opportunity to do. Certain things that we may take for granted, such as going to the library. We had a little that had never been to the library. We had an event, a Big 4-Day event, which is where the kids that's on the wait list, we pair them with a mentor just for that day. And we actually had that event at the Columbus Museum. There were some kids that had never been to the museum before. So just, being able to open them up to different things, and just hearing their excitement and how happy they are, it just makes it all worth it.
It really does. I see my friend Jay Jim's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say he would be a great mentor.
He is absolutely wonderful.
You'd have to be a UGA fan, though.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, I know. He's a big UGA fan.
You're an Auburn fan too?
I'm a UGA fan, but
What?
I cover in Georgia Tech, so.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Bulldogs.
Well, Erica, why don't you introduce us to your staff and show us your cavernous offer suites?
Okay, we'll start right here.
How many military gigs?
We have quite a few. The bad thing is they rotate out.
Yeah.
But it is good.
We have Katir, and we have Stasha. Katir's from CSU, and Stasha outside Richard University. I mess it up every time I try to say it. But these are interns. The way we train the interns is they go through the same process that the case managers go through. They have to complete the same training. They have to shadow the case manager. Then we shadow them, attempt to do the interviews before we allow them to do it themselves and make sure they're comfortable.
Thank you guys for everything you do. Good to see y'all again.
And this is Alexis. She's our newest case manager. She's been here a month now, right?
Oh, awesome. Well, congratulations.
And we have one other intern from University of Kentucky, She comes in on those. We usually use this, but right now, since we're doing those things virtual, it's really corner.
Oh, that's cool though. Have a good weekend. Good morning, y'all.
I'm Erin. I'm a case manager. Yeah.
Erin has been here 3 years. Next month, she'll be here 3 years.
Wow. Well, we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Lori Alton.
Mo Scarborough.
Yep.
Hey, new board member.
Eddie Obubu.
Austin Lyle. You look familiar, and I think I saw you.
I hope you have.
Is it Bishop Dowd?
Yeah.
Daughter? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could see that with a
And I'm Todd Bennett.
Yeah.
And he looks familiar, too.
Are you from here?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Kendrick.
Okay.
Cherokees.
I was principal at Shaw,
Oh.
but I also held disciplinary hearings. You look familiar too.
Well, you know what? I actually had a nephew that went to Shaw, and I was probably, I used to go up there all the time.
Aaron, put your mask back on so he doesn't see who you are.
Well, I thought it'd be better than having them come back to my office. Hello, everyone. So, my program is usually a little difficult for people to understand without seeing it. So, I took the liberty of making just some cheat sheets.
Oh, I love those.
Oh.
Those are so helpful. Thank you.
I try to make them pretty. One of them you already have, the bullet points.
Yeah,
They're there. So what Families in Schools is we're a family engagement program. We go into different communities and the schools in Columbus and Phoenix City. And then we provide family engagement activities. It's usually an 8-week-long program, 1 night a week. But right now we're with COVID. We've converted it to a virtual program. I spent most of my summer working on that. And we're making it a 4-week-long, 1 hour a night, 1 day a week program for the fall cycle at least. Hopefully just the fall cycle. We are currently in Brewer Elementary. J.D. Davis Elementary is one of our community hubs. Phoenix City Elementary and Phoenix City Housing Authority, we use the community center there. When families come to one of our programs, and we have FAST and we have Cafe. Cafe is a little less expensive just because it was built in-house. We created it here. FAST is a nationally known, actually internationally known program, and we used it for a good 10 years, but we needed to save a little money, so we made something that was geared more towards the demographic here in this area. And what we do is we go in, we invite families to come, we feed them dinner. I do a lot of cooking in the 8 weeks that the program is happening. I'm sorry, I'll take this off. So we serve them dinner. During that dinner, we require that the parents serve the food, family style, and the kids have to clean up. Parents love that because it teaches the kids reciprocity. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving us a meal. We're going to say thanks by cleaning. We don't allow cell phones, no electronics of any kind during the 2 hours or so that they're there. And we do that so that way they can remain engaged. During the dinner, we offer them discussion cards, conversation cards, things more than, hey, how was school today? We have like, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? If you could have one student removed from your class, who would it be? That brings on more questions. We don't allow why questions because a lot of times for kids, when they're hearing them, they sound accusatory
And
judgmental, and so we don't allow why questions, and we try to encourage open conversation, open-ended questions, no yes or no, things like that. We also have community activities where we'll do a game or something as a group, and then we have a family activity where each family gets an activity to do right there at the table together. Then we break up into groups. We have a parent group, we have a teen group, and we have a kids group. Teens love it. It's kind of surprising how much they enjoy it. Now, Cafe, that program has different topics every week.
and we try to gear the activities and the group topics on whatever that topic is for that night. So week 2 is communication, so we might play Simon Says, or we might play telephone, something like that, to really show people how communication really works. And then in the different groups, for parent group, for example, we're teaching them how to talk to your kids and really get them to listen to you. For the kids, we're teaching them active listening skills. And then for the teenagers, we're teaching them how to talk to your parents and really get them to listen to you. And in that, we're teaching them how nonverbal cues are just as effective or ineffective as verbal cues. So the and the eye rolling and the those sort of things, how they can affect the conversation that you're having with your parents. And teenagers get a weekly challenge. They have to do something every week, and then the next week we discuss it when they come back. Parents,
for example, can you think of an example?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the week of communication, their weekly challenge is to have a conversation with their parents and try not to roll their eyes or use any kind of attitude.
Wow, and then you talk about it.
And then we talk about it the next week. It's actually been really great. Even though last cycle we had to cut it short, we still had a 92% increase in family communication.
Did you measure that?
Yes, I do. They get a pre-survey and they get a post-survey.
I'll just tell you guys real quick. Right now, our consumer credit counseling person, Rosemary, is not here today. She is out on vacation, but that is our department, which we talked about already, about where we do financial counseling for everyone. Big part of what we do. It's kind of a sad story, but another triumph. We're talking about turning negatives into a positive. Last year when we took the huge budget cuts that came from United Way and some other agencies, we had to lay off 3 or 4 consumer credit counselors, and it just stayed with 1. And we changed our philosophy. We used to do one-on-one counseling primarily. Now that's our secondary approach. If we have someone that needs individual counseling, we definitely do it, but we try to do groups so that we get a group of people that need budgeting, or first-time house buyers, or people that need debt management. We try to do them all together, and we actually served more people this year than we did the year before with just Rosemary. Now, she's overworked, and she's about ready to kill me, but it is a success story, how you can make things work when you have to. It's not the optimal way to do things. It is much better to have the one-on-one counseling, but we took the lemons and made some lemonade out of it, and we're still serving our community. So that's pretty important.
It is.
All right, so we'll go upstairs and be the last part of our tour.
You have my board members. You know me, Lori Alton.
Hey, Mus Barber. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Alston Lyle.
Eddie Ogle.
Nice to meet all of you and welcome and thank you for being willing to serve us.
We appreciate it. We're excited.
So the Family Counseling Department, we provide mental health and financial counseling services. Rosemary's not here.
No, she's not.
Under the mental health, we do that whether it's individual, family, couple, or group. And then for financial, we also do some group services as well as outreach for both mental health and financial. And our team is diverse. We have licensed clinicians, we have associate licensed clinicians, we have master's levels, and we have interns. We are a training site for graduate level students who want to pursue a career in the counseling field.
How many interns do you have right now, Rachel? 3. That's a lot. I mean, because you have to supervise, right?
Right.
That's a lot.
So interns have to have supervision as well as master's level clinicians who want to pursue licensure.
How many hours does, I was thinking it was like 1,000 hours of
It's 3
counseling?
years for it depends on the credential, but for most, whether it's LPC, MFT, or social work, you're looking at 3 years postgraduate for supervision, and it's about 1,000 hours in
That's
the
what I
year.
was thinking, yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot. So, wonderful. Are you pretty at capacity right now? Or
3 for internship.
well, I mean, just in with clients.
With clients. For our staff, I would say yes. We have had some recent transitions, and so we're adjusting to that. But we are getting fairly settled with that, and yes, we are getting to capacity. But
we kind of gauge that month to month because we're also discharging clients as well as clients are coming on. So we kind of review that at the end. We assess that at the end of every month, kind of where are we with those kinds of things. The challenge is with insurance clients because Christy, who is our fully licensed MFT, and myself are the only ones who can bill for insurance. There are some EAPs will allow for associate level counselors to bill, but most of the time they want fully licensed clinicians, and so we always juggling that, because I'm limited in the number of clients I can see because of the administrative duties.
How many EAPs are we associated with? Y'all know what EAPs are, employee assistance programs, where, like Synovus may have all the different resources for their employees.
Can't count.
And then you just missed me. Okay. DBA, Mono Chappelle, EFI, ESI, EFR. I'm missing one. And then we also have agreements with the Harbor, Columbus Hospice. And I'm still missing one. And there's a couple of other ones that are real, like, there's one company, they have like one employee in Georgia, but they're based out of Texas. So we don't get a lot from them. But so I would say about 6 or 7.
Okay.
That are fairly consistent.
Okay.
And the insurance companies were panels for Blue Cross Blue Shield, TRICARE, and Aetna. And then Aetna has EAP as well that we use. And then we have some military. Centerstone is it's more like an EAP, but it's geared toward veterans, and so we're part of that. And I'm missing Tri-West is another one that's specific for military.
Yeah, you probably heard a lot about the VA programs, especially during election year, how now the VA choice program. So if like I get health care from the VA, if I need mental health and I want to do it here in Columbus or outside the VA system, they would refer me here, and Rachel would get to give me some counseling.
She's been waiting on the day.
We're going to talk a little bit about board member job descriptions, and so we'll just kind of jump right in and start talking about what it is to be a board member and what that job description entails. So some of the things that are required of the board members is that the board is responsible for overseeing the mission and purpose of the organization. Some of those duties include participation in the strategic planning and making policy decisions, securing the financing of those decisions, and then monitoring the execution of the decisions made. Board members must be willing to attend the requisite meetings, they must follow through on commitments, and they must participate fully in the decision-making process. And as a board member, one of the job descriptions that's kind of just a known is that you are a part of the Family Center when you become a board member. So what you represent out in the community is who you are to the community and the Family Center. So it's very important that that when we're out in the community that we represent the Family Center as positive as possible. And there's 4 general responsibilities of a board member, and it's fiscal, it's legal, it's ambassadorship, and it's staff. So for fiscal, one of the examples of one of the things that you have to do as a board member is that you need to review the revenues and expenses quarterly, ensuring that the mission of the Family Center is being upheld. You also need to strengthen the Family Center's financial base by participating and contributing to the Family Center's fundraising. We also require that strategic planning be a part of your responsibilities in setting long-term goals. Legal, we have to act on behalf of the Family Center's interests. So, as Todd has mentioned before, we can't have any personal conflicts of interest and affiliations or any other constituencies that are outside the realm of the Family Center. We also set policies and procedures that are administrated in the compliance and applicable laws. So we've got to make sure that legally we are representing the Family Center as well. Ambassadorship, obviously we want to promote the mission of the Family Center. We want to promote the vision, and we also want to encourage support of the staff and volunteers at the Family Center. Staff, the responsibility of the board is to hire the CEO and review the performance of the CEO annually. Specific responsibilities for a board member and the requirements of that board member is attendance and contribution at the board meetings. So we want to make sure that every board member is expected to attend and participate in a majority of the scheduled meetings each year. We also have the requirement of give or get. And so basically board members will be responsible for raising or personally giving funds. They also will be encouraged to give a personal gift each year towards the goal. Thanks.
We're so glad that you became a board member here at the Family Center. It's such an important role and so vital to what we do. So I just wanted to talk about the expectations, or the 10 things that we really would like to see out of a board member. And of course, the first one's the easiest, to foster the vision, mission, and purpose of the organization. Another role of the board is to hire and fire the chief executive officer to make sure that the CEO is doing a great job. And then the CEO has the responsibility to hire and fire the staff and take care of the everyday operations of the organization. The board needs to provide proper financial insight and oversight. With the financial responsibilities of the organization, our donors really need to know that we're doing a great job with the funds that they bestow upon us, and that we are good stewards of the money that is here to help our community. Ensure that the organization has adequate resources. This is a big one for board members. We need board members not only to give of their own personal treasure, but we need them to work in the community to make sure that other organizations, businesses, and individuals know about the value of the Family Center and are part of the financial obligations that we need to fulfill. Ensure legal compliance and ethical integrity. Very, very important that we follow the certain code of conduct that we need as an organization. Manage our resources. The resources that we do have, we need board approval to make big swooping changes. So that is something that's very important to have that governance in place. Recruit other board members. The lifeline of our organization is having great board members in place that really are looking after the Family Center. So we always need to have a fresh crew of board members, and that's why you're here today, because you have joined our board as one of the new members. Now we pass the mantle on to you to continue recruiting board members and find great fits for our organization. Enhance the standing in the public, and that's one that's really big for us here at the Family Center, is telling our story and making sure that people know about our mission and our values and what we're doing in the community, sharing that daily as a ambassador of the Family Center. And then finally, strengthen our organization's programs and services, and that could be working on a certain program to make sure that it's stronger and doing a better job in the community. Or it could be taking a look at where we combine services or make sure that we're collaborating with other organizations in the community. So all of those things are part of being a board member, and I know that you will be on board to help us be a great organization and continuing to do the great work that we do in the community. If you have any questions, please feel free to always reach out to the board chair or myself. We are always here to work with you. And with all that, we're going to talk a little bit about bylaws. We're so glad that you became a board member here at the Family Center. It's such an important role and so vital to what we do. So I just wanted to talk about the expectations, or the 10 things that we really would like to see out of a board member. And of course, the first one's the easiest, to foster the vision, mission, and purpose of the organization. Another role of the board is to hire and fire the chief executive officer to make sure that the CEO is doing a great job. And then the CEO has the responsibility to hire and fire the staff and take care of the everyday operations of the organization. The board needs to provide proper financial insight and oversight. With the financial responsibilities of the organization, our donors really need to know that we're doing a great job with the funds that they bestow upon us, and that we are good stewards of the money that is here to help our community. Ensure that the organization has adequate resources. This is a big one for board members. We need board members not only to give of their own personal treasure, but we need them to work in the community to make sure that other organizations, businesses, and individuals know about the value of the Family Center and are a part of the financial obligations that we need to fulfill. Ensure legal compliance and ethical integrity. Very, very important that we follow the certain code of conduct that we need as an organization. Manage our resources. The resources that we do have, we need board approval to make big swooping changes. So that is something that's very important to have that governance in place. Recruit other board members. The lifeline of our organization is having great board members in place that really are looking after the Family Center. So we always need to have a fresh crew of board members, and that's why you're here today, because you have joined our board as one of the new members. Now we pass the mantle on to you to continue recruiting board members and find great fits for our organization. Enhance the standing in the public, and that's one that's really big for us here at the Family Center, is telling our story and making sure that people know about our mission and our values and what we're doing in the community, sharing that daily as a ambassador of the Family Center. And then finally, strengthen our organization's programs and services, and that could be working on a certain program to make sure that it's stronger and doing a better job in the community. Or it could be taking a look at where we combine services or make sure that we're collaborating with other organizations in the community. So all of those things are part of being a board member, and I know that you will be on board to help us be a great organization and continuing to do the great work that we do in the community. If you have any questions, please feel free to always reach out to the board chair or myself. We are always here to work with you. And with all that, we're going to talk a little bit about bylaws. So bylaws. Can you think of anything more boring to talk about than bylaws? But our bylaws really give us a very important framework to what we do as a board. So each of you will have in your board manual a copy of our bylaws, which were last revised in August of 2018. So these set up many things like, what are the terms of a board member? How do you become an executive officer? What are our committees? All of those are outlined in our bylaws. Also, as we look through here, we find things like conflict of interest. We need to be sure that as a board member, your interest is in the Family Center, and it's not conflicted in any other kind of business arrangement or nonprofit obligation. That's not to say you can't do business with the Family Center or you cannot be a part of another board. What it means is that we need to be sure that there is no conflict and everything goes through a fair process, and that board members recuse themselves from any votes that might deal with some of their business dealings. Also in here, it talks about our meetings. We're required to have at least 4 meetings a year. Currently, we have a meeting every other month as a board member, and every other month, your committee will also meet. A quorum. So we have in our bylaws that we must have 1/3 of our board present for quorum. In other words, 1/3 of the members must be available for the vote for that vote to count. There are also other things in here that really go into in-depth things like vacancies and what do we do with that, what all of our programs are and outline them as their committees, and talking about our fiscal reviews and other things that we do as an organization, like our annual audit and approval of the budget and those kind of things. So even though it's a little bit dry reading, I do encourage everyone to go through your copy and just kind of read through and know those bylaws. Being in charge of governance means that you should be an expert on these bylaws. And when we come to a meeting, you should, really know those back and forth. And I think that will serve you well as a board member. And it also will serve the Family Center well, because we will have really good leadership, making sure that we're following these very important bylaws.
Let's talk about the Family Center committees. Currently, there are 5 committees that the Family Center board can choose to be on. The first is the Executive Committee. This consists of officers of the board, which are the chairman, the vice chairman, the second vice chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, the immediate past chair, and the Family Center chief executive officer. This committee provides leadership, empowers to act for the board of directors in all matters within the jurisdiction of the board and of an emergency nature. The Counseling Program Committee provides general oversight for ensuring TFC is meeting the counseling needs of the community. Some of the things that this committee actually tries to manage and oversee is effective staffing, program development, implementation, and the Counseling Programs Committee consists of the following programs. It's the Family Counseling Center and the Consumer Credit Counseling Service of West Georgia and East Alabama. Mentoring Programs Committee, it serves as the resource to the CEO, Families and Schools Program Director, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters Director. It provides general oversight and guidance to ensure the programs are seeking to meet the mentoring needs of the community. Some of the things that this committee actually oversees is effective staffing, program development, and implementation. The Finance Committee, which I am actually a part of, is a committee that provides oversight for the fiscal matters of the Family Center. It consists of 3 to 4 members, which we require that those members have some type of financial background, and is chaired by the treasurer of the board. The objective is to ensure proper fiscal management through internal accounting and monitoring and reducing potential for risk. The last committee is the Development and Public Relations Committee. It basically has 2 goals. The first is to raise money for operational contingency programs, and the second is to raise public awareness for the purpose and mission of the Family Center.
So another responsibility for us as board members is to be sure that we're looking at the budget. So our staff will be putting together a yearly fiscal year budget, and in that budget, we're going to kind of list out what we expect our costs to be, as well as what we think our income would be. This is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it keeps us fiscally on track as we go through time periods. But secondly, it helps us with our funders, such as the United Way and other funders in our community, to let them know what our needs are and how much money we think we're going to raise for the year. So as a board member, one of your big responsibilities is to really take a hard look at our budget when it comes time for the board to approve it. Make sure that you feel like that the income expectations are reasonable, as well as that we're doing a good job with our costs. As we said before, we've got to be good stewards of those who give us money. And so when it comes to cost, it's really important that the board work alongside the staff to make sure that we're approving a great budget which fulfills the mission of the Family Center, but does so in a very frugal way, so that we're respecting the donors that make these budgets happen for us. One of the things going forward that we're responsible for as board members is strategic planning, as well as having an annual development plan. So we completed our 5-year strategic plan in 2018, end of 2018. And that plan is the one we're on now. But one of our responsibilities is to take a look at that yearly to make sure that we have updates to it, that times are, like right now we're going through COVID-19. That's changed a lot of the pieces of our our strategic plan. But we need to make sure that it's refreshed every year, and also that our development plan has the same thing that happens. You will have a copy of the strategic plan in your packet, so I'm not going to go over that whole thing, but I am going to talk about a couple of highlights that I think are important for us as board members. Number one, our strategic plan fits on a card. So on the front part is our main overriding purpose, and behind is all of our programs. And so we can hand this to someone. But what it says on here is our big question: how do we establish the value of the Family Center in the community? And that's our number one overarching goal as a part of our strategic plan. One of the things that we really struggle with is the name recognition and the adequate funding, especially from individuals and companies in our local area. So that is something that every day as board members we should be asking ourselves: how do we establish ourselves establish the value of the Family Center in our community? The other thing that you'll see in our strategic package is that there is a strategy screen. And really what that is a series of questions that anytime we as a board or as a staff make a decision for the programs of the Family Center, we should run it through that screen. And it's going to ask several questions that we need to make sure that every single question is answered affirmatively before we try to change or add a program. So it's just a guideline of what our values are going to be as we're making decisions on our program going forward. After this, we're going to talk a little bit about the development plan, which fits into our strategic plan. So we're talking about our development plan. And what we do with our development plan is build out a plan as a part of our strategic plan for raising money. And that's so important, and Michelle can tell you that because she's the person that makes sure all the checks go out. So Michelle is our business manager and our accounting manager. And what does our development plan mean to you?
It just means knowing that we have people who are involved and who care about what we do and are willing to support us with all their efforts for fundraising, because that is what our influx of income depends on, is our supporters and people who want to help promote all the great programs that we offer here.
Yeah, most definitely. And Shelley Dean is our development director. So she's a person that you can talk to if you have any great ideas on how we can raise money. And of course, we raise money in several different ways that are inside of that plan. One is we ask for individual contributors. We ask for businesses to contribute. And one of the big things we do is we write grants and ask for community funders as well as government funding when available. And all those things pull together. As a staff and as a board, the other thing that we do that is really big is we have events that we do every year. Our biggest being Bowl for Kids' Sake, which is done for Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is a fun day of bowling. And then our annual gala, which usually has some pretty nice prizes as a part of it, and just a fun day. Our annual gala is called the Ray of Hope. So we look forward to having you be a part of the development plan. That's a very important part of being a board member, making sure that we're funded and we can afford to get these checks in the mail.
Yes, please. Your support is always greatly appreciated.